Hey, what is up, guys? So here is another top 5. Now, with the recent news that Beanox is not going to be developing Star Wars games anymore. Star Wars? Spider-Man. Spider-Man. What the hell am I talking about? I got Star Wars on my mind. It's right behind me with the posters and stuff. Anyway, the news of no more Spider-Man games coming from them. A lot of people in the questions section down there in the comments when I said, you know, let me know what you think and I'll let you know what I think, asked what are my top Spider-Man games of all time. So I figured, well, let's get into that and do my top 5 Spider-Man video games. So number 5, Spiderman Web of Shadows. Now this to me feels like a very underrated game. It came at this weird time where it was after Spider-Man 3 and that game was pretty awful and everybody was kind of going, I don't know, and like they used a lot of good elements in this game. Now, granted, the game does have a bunch of problems. There's a lot of tedious missions, a lot of repetition when you're teaming up with different people, but there's a lot of good in this. You know, you start wearing the black suit, and the people start reacting to you differently because you want to level that up because it gives you more power. But you go to the classic suit, and then you know you have a certain way that people look at you. You're gonna make friends easier. People are willing to help you a lot easier. So it's this nice balance, and of course, there's a lot of great characters. You team up with Luke Cage. You team up with Moon Knight, just to name a few. Wolverine shows up. You have a pretty awesome fight. Hell, symbiotes everywhere. What's not to like? Like I said, I think if the game could have had another maybe 6 months development, I think it could have been the definitive Spider-Man game. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and the graphics have not aged very well with it, but I still enjoy it, and it is my number 5. Number 4, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Now, Shattered Dimensions, this game legitimately shocked me. You know, as a Spider-Man fan, you want Spider-Man games to be good. And this game almost delivers everything you could want besides an open world, and I think that's the problem. Of course, you know, it's a game, as the title suggests, Shattered Dimensions. So we're getting a bunch of different dimensions all coming into one. So we have Spider-Man Noir, which I absolutely love, and his stealth-style gameplay. We have Ultimate Spider-Man, which that was the most probably iffy one. We have normal Spider-Man, and we of course have 2099, which would lead to Edge of Shadows. Now, you know, I think Shattered Dimensions hit a lot of points right. The combat and how different the Spider-Man felt awesome. The graphics and the aesthetics of every different level, and when you're the different characters, were great and very well balanced and looked beautiful for each character. The story was freaking amazing, but the thing that held it back was the unfortunate lack of an open world. And I understand it would have been hard to make 4 open worlds, so they couldn't do that. But that's really one of the things we want to do as Spider-Man. We hate being in a linear corridor, you know, that limits us, and that's kind of unfortunate. But like I said, it's a great game. If you guys have a chance to get it, highly suggest it. You know, you can find it these days, if they haven't pulled it off the shelves, for less than $15. It's totally worth it. Some great enemies in there. You're going to have a great time. You could probably beat it in like 2 or 3 sittings over a weekend and just have a great Spider-Man story. Number 3, The Amazing Spiderman. Now, this game completely blows my mind. Still to this game, I can put the game in. I'll beat it in 1 sitting in like 5.5 hours, and I love the living hell out of it. I love the world. I love how it's built. You know, it's a sequel to the movie, and you know, originally they pitched it as, oh, it's a continuation. It's going to bridge the gap. That was a bunch of crap to get you to play the game, but it's legitimately a fun, good game. Like, it's a good Spider-Man game. You feel like Spider-Man. There are a few of those little things, like you swing from, you know, the air. You're not really grabbing onto buildings, that are problematic, but that doesn't make me, you know, not enjoy the game. I think the story was handled very well. I think some of the characters and their interpretation of how they could fit into the Amazing Spider-Man world, such as Black Cat and Alistair Smythe, that was great. You know, it was just very well made. I thought some of the boss battles were great. You know, when you're fighting, and I guess small spoiler here, when you're fighting the iguana, you know, I think that was cool. When you're fighting Scorpion was great. When the giant, you know, Oscorp Spider Slayer is in the middle of the city and you're fighting that, and it's like blowing through buildings, that was awesome. Like, this is probably one of the most fun Spider-Man games I've played in the last decade. It's really great, and it's third only because the second game is a little bit better. Actually, it's a lot better. Spider-Man 2. Now, Spider-Man 2, holy crap. You know, this is one of those games, if you go back now and play it, it's not that great, unfortunately. I have gone back. I try to every summer play some of my old-time, classic games, and I put it in. It's a great game. It's still a great game. It hasn't aged well, you know. It has that nostalgia feeling that we all love, you know. We remember the first time we play. It's an open city. You're Spider-Man. The swinging works well. Unfortunately, the story and enemies and the repetition does set in rather quickly, you know, and it's a kind of monotonous, and goddamn that balloon kid. But, you know, it's just it's what it felt like to be Spider-Man. You know, that's the first time we really got to experience it, and I really loved the hell out of it. I think everything about it was just quite amazing, and you know, it blows my mind how good that was, especially coming after a success of the amazing movie that, you know, came with the Spider-Man 2. So Spider-Man fever was at an all-time high, and this game really delivered on that. So overall, it's probably one of the best Spider-Man games. Arguably, to a lot of you, it's probably going to be the best Spider-Man game. And now, number one. Now, this was one of those things where I really had to think about what was my favorite. And there was going to be two. And I think this is kind of cheating, because there are two. Two games are my number one Spider-Man game. And this is different. One for nostalgia reasons, and I haven't went back and played it. But this is, of course, Spider-Man on the PlayStation. I love that game. That was my first big Spider-Man game. I remember sitting with my friend John when it came out. We would just sit there in front of my TV. It was like school year just started. All weekend playing Spider-Man, trying to do the, you know, trials, entering into cheat codes, unlocking different suits. It was great. It legitimately has a great, you know, nostalgia feel to me. But like I said, I haven't gone back and played it in years, so I don't know if that still holds up. But to me, it's one of the greatest, and I absolutely love everything about it. I love the story. I love the what-if mode. I love the great cameos from different characters, and just the gameplay at the time was spectacular. Now, on the other side, and this is probably my actual number one, so it has to go here, Ultimate Spider-Man. That game, Spider-Man 2, like I said, it was pretty much perfection. Ultimate Spider-Man took the Ultimates comic and put that skin, that cel-shaded look on Spider-Man 2, but not only did they elevate everything about it, the combat, the story, the characters, the character beats, everything just got better. They even let you play as Venom in that game. And I just think, like, it encapsulated everything about Spider-Man perfectly. Now, I know a lot of people actually skipped this game, which is unfortunate. You know, it came out on the same day as Rise of the Imperfects, whatever the fuck that fighting game was. The terrible fighting game, god-awful. And a lot of people I know got that one instead, and that was a terrible, terrible choice on their part. I got Ultimate Spider-Man, super happy. Like I said, probably one of the best. I think the combat system was great. I just loved swinging around the city. I loved how the graphics looked. I loved the characters. I loved the story. Not some of the things that happen in it, you know, like when S.H.I.E.L.D. starts helping you and all that, some of the great cameos from other characters. It just felt like, for the first time, the world of Spider-Man was in my hands, legitimately straight from the comics, and I could just go and live and experience that world in that New York. And to me, that was absolutely amazing. And that was the first time I also figured out that Ultimate's Goblin was a goblin that shoots fucking fireballs at me, and that completely blew my mind. I went out and legit, after that game, bought a few of the graphic novels. I was like, I gotta start reading this. I gotta start reading this. So, all over it. That is my list. I know I kind of cheated for number one, because there's two number ones, but, you know, nostalgia reasons. So, with that in mind, I definitely know this is going to be a disliked video down to hell, because opinions, what the fuck are those, right? So, let me know what your top 5, 6, 10 Spider-Man games are, or whatever. And it's going to be a crime if I don't mention this, but Maximum Carnage, number 6. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, that game, holy crap. I moved to America when that game came out, seen it on the back of, you know, magazines and stuff, had to get my parents to rent it for me. It's all I played. Holy shit. Still hard. Motherfucker Doppelganger. Never beat that game to this day. I'm gonna go fucking do that right now. That's what I'm gonna do. Give me your lists. So thank you for watching the video. If you guys like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, check out some of these other great videos we have on the channel. Just click the annotation right there. It'll take you to them. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a good one.